That's a whole other budget.
There's the one you wanted me to do for you.
The low-income transit pass. Yeah, so what, we have a whole other budget proposal, which includes the low-income transit pass, which is why we didn't do it separately. If that passes, then that's done. If that fails, then there's an amendment on the low-income transit pass to come.
Oh, sorry.
I love budget making.
Some people would be happy with the pools. That was something we heard a lot from people during the public consultations. It's kind of a small line item, but significant.
Yeah, that's right. It's not a huge amount of dollars, particularly when you look at what it would cost to keep them closed. But I got to tell you, council did not agree to keep them open forever. This is a use it or lose it situation. And so it's really going to be really important, certainly for our administration, to work hard on creating a sustainable operating model. But the most important thing is more people gotta come. And so it's important for the local communities to really enhance the usage of that pool. If your kid goes to swim lessons there, bring 3 other kids from school. If you do aquasize, bring your neighbors. And it's going to be very important over the next 2 years for usage of those facilities to really go up.
Can you explain the main motion, which is a
Yes.
0, but not? What is it?
So council has put forward the idea that, look, the province cut our budget. They cut the policing budget by the equivalent of 33%. So rather than us relying on recreation and parks to fill the gap that the province created, if the province wanted to cut policing budgets, then they should also see the implications of that. So the idea here is that we will take 13 million of the about 20 million in cuts that we got from the provincial government. We'll absorb some of it. The stuff that was specifically about police will flow through on your tax bill. So we will keep our core budget to 0, but you will see a 1% increase, 0.75% increase as a result of provincial downloading.
But then it's not a 0 though, right?
Our base budget is still a 0,
but...
right? It's still a 0 because the point is that we were ready to go with the 0, and then the province threw these cuts at us. And so as a result, we can't then go back and ask folks, let's put it this way, to use a quote I've been hearing in the legislature, our fiscal house is in order. Don't light it on fire.
Will tax bills look different than they have in previous years?
I sure hope so. I'd like to simplify them. There may be some technical software constraints in how that looks, but I think people should see very clearly what they're paying for the city's core services and what they're sending to the provincial government through the education property tax, and what is the results of downloading.
What do you say people who are frustrated, who don't really care, which order of government gets that?
Call your MLA.
Call your MLA. That's it? Nothing? Nothing from the city?
Call your MLA. The city's financial house is in order. We are very, very good at providing our services. If you are opposed to provincial tax cuts, don't complain to me, complain to the province. They're the ones that cut policing by 33% equivalent.
So police are going to be whole in this proposal, and then what about the other services that are getting?
So the idea here is, we heard in council today that we're cutting the fire department. We're not cutting the fire department, but the fire department did have a bunch of growth. They wanted to hire 20 new firefighters for existing fire halls, not for new fire halls. And in what's before us now is to hire 10 new firefighters for those halls, 1 ladder, 1 complete crew, on a 24-hour shift. That's too complicated. Let me say that a bit more simply. What's before us is to hire 10 new firefighters for existing halls, so they will still get an increase. Police will be made whole, and of the rest of the cuts to civic partners, to community-facing services, we'll restore about half of those, including the library.
What about
firefighters? Are you deferring a fire hall still?
Fire hall will still be deferred. Nobody needs that built this year anyway. We'll have to deal with that next year.
And the impact on transit?
That is returning about $1 million to transit in what's before us now of the 2.3 million service hour cut.
So to clarify, all of that is coming from the flow through of the...
Yeah, because what had happened is the administration had already absorbed that 13 million into the 1.5 scenario, and council is suggesting let's actually use that for core city services rather than covering up for the province.
That was my next question. So the province's revenue change to the police was $13 million.
That's right.
But 8.4 is being restored. The rest is being filled in by the city from elsewhere within the city budget.
That's right. So while that is what had happened, that was what the 0% scenario said. And what we're now saying is actually, we'll flow through 13, that'll all go to the police, and that frees up the money that we otherwise were using from other departments to cover off the police's problem. Okay?
The proposal to cut $50 million from attracting businesses, why was that a bad idea?
Oh, sure. We have something called the Opportunity Calgary Investment Fund, and it's one of the few tools we have left in our toolbox for attracting business. Because for better or worse, the province has also cut the investment tax credits and the things we were using for bringing people here. So to cut that now, as it's starting to see success, I think is a bad idea. The other thing is, we've had this debate so many times. I think people have tried 5 times in the last 2 years to cut that program. It's like the Peace Bridge back in the day. And at some point, you just got to abide by the decision council made and give people the opportunity to let it work. All right, thank you.
So